Rasslin podcast never felt this great. Tables, ladders, chairs, they tell it all. From the highest highs to the lowest fall. Great and glory tales from the ring. Every chant, every cheer they'll bring. Devon and the Duke bring the heat. Wrestling tales knock you off your seat. Tune in now, don't you be late. Rasslin podcast never felt this great.
Brothers and sisters, welcome back. Welcome back and happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. It is the Devon and the Duke podcast, a limited edition series hosted by your main man, Duke Loves Rasslin, and of course, the man himself, 5-time Hall of Famer. He is a YouTube star. He is the man in high demand out there at all the signings and conventions, what have you. The one, the only, Mr. Devon Dudley. What's going on there, bro?
Hey, how you doing? How's everything going?
Listen, this heat that we've been receiving in Boston, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, I don't like it. We hit officially. It said that we hit 103 degrees last week, but that was at Logan Airport, which is by the water. I'm inland. We hit 113 degrees inland. So I'm just telling you right now, Devon, I don't know how you do it down in Florida, brother, but you need to take this hot weather away.
No, y'all need it, man, because winter killed y'all. That's why I left up north. I couldn't take that weather during that time.
What's the movie? It was Beverly Hills Cop. Eddie Murphy is sitting there acting like he's drunk because the guys are trying to rob the strip club. And he goes, Philip, what's all this gun and everything? Philip, you changed, man. You changed.
Yeah. I told you to sit down. Get back from me, man.
So I'm gonna tell you, Mr. New York, you changed, Devon. You changed. You know?
Listen, I was a kid in elementary school and said if I ever got rich and had some money, I was moving to the warmest climate there would be. Without having to be that far, without that having to be so far away from home in New York. And, I don't want my people in New York to think that, I don't love them. I do. I love New York, but I couldn't go back and live. I really couldn't have. I'm so used to the slow pace. I'm so used to the people that, basically are warm and genuine and don't get mad at every little thing. And I hate to say that, but us New Yorkers, we are like that. Whether we want to admit it or not, we are. And sometimes it can take a toll. When I first started wrestling, started to travel, I wasn't high strung, but I was kind of like, things got to be done, and it's got to be done now. It's, it's this and that, blah, blah, blah. That's the way New Yorkers are. We've always been like that.
Yeah, that's the truth. You walk with purpose. So wait a second. You mean to tell me all these years you done lived down there in Florida, no one's flipping you off and yelling obscenities at you randomly?
Not as much as they were in New York. I had this Asian lady, little Asian lady, driving, and I didn't even do anything. I didn't move and nothing. In other words, I wasn't in her lane or anything. But she felt the need because I wasn't going fast enough to get close to me, put up the middle finger and still going, and then turn into a parking lot. And I was turning into that direction. I was like, now what would have happened if I had turned into that parking lot and got out the car? She'd have been calling 911 and everything. But you act all big and bad in your car, which we all know. But then when it comes time to step out and to hold accountable, you don't want to do it then.
Listen, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about that little video online where a guy runs up on a guy and says, "Give me all your money," and the older guy says, he starts holding his chest. He's like, "Wait, call the police, but not for me, for you." And then he pulls out a gun. It's like, listen, you better leave that little Asian lady alone, man. She might slice and dice your ass. You mess around now.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Well, I like it when this black comedian he starts talking in this Latino voice, and he goes, Poppy don't play. He
Yes.
don't play. He don't care. Like Poppy, guy, you try to hold up Poppy in the street. Guy goes, give me all your money. He goes, I can't do that, man. He's like, I give you $1 or two, but I can't give you all my money. I'm sorry, Poppy.
He said, no, no.
No, no, Poppy can't do that.
He said he was chasing him down the street. He said, I give you $1. That's it.
That's it. That's it. I can't give you no more, Poppy. He's like, Poppy, I'm gonna shoot you. He goes, all right, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I'm not giving you my money.
I think that dude's name was Rashid. Rest in peace, Rashid.
He passed away.
He passed away years ago. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
But that clip still go. That one and the Jamaican one. He does a good Jamaican accent too.
Hmm.
Yeah, that dude's funny as hell, man. I love it. I love it when you and I start talking about this stuff because that's good stuff. That's good stuff there. You know, Listen, man, I'm going to congratulate you. Um, we were talking about River City Wrestling Con and all of the great young folks who come from the Devon Dudley tree, been trained by you, and how well they did at the convention, what have you. And then here I am watching Night of Champions and realize, damn, we talk about all these Samoans who are taking over the WWE, and you done
Hmm.
trained damn near all of them.
All the Samoans except for Soul Secord. He's not mine. I think he's Rikishi's and Booker and Jacob. But everybody else, even the new kid that came out, they're all. And I'm not going to take the credit for myself. Myself and Bubba, we trained all of those guys.
So the newest addition of the new bloodline is Tala Tonga, who was formerly known as Hikuleo out there in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So Tala Tonga, who's a big dude. How tall is that dude, would you say?
He's about 6'7", 6'8".
Wow. Wow. And he got a big head of hair too, huh?
Oh yeah, just like his father. Just like his father.
Yep. 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 That's it. Listen, I would not want to play with that dude. Uh, I looked at his hand. He took his big hand that looks like a catcher's mitt and put it around Jacob's throat and picked him up and choke slammed him on the table. I said, damn, hey, Jacob ain't no small dude.
No, but and he's one of the nicest guys you'll meet. Very gentle, very soft spoken. And I'll be honest with you, when he came to the school, I was like, if this kid doesn't change and become the monster that he is, he's not going to make it because he was just so soft spoken. He was just so gentle. I didn't see a heel thing in his body, a heel bone in his body. And he's just a nice kid. He really is. Down to earth, you can't help but love him when you meet him. He's that type of guy.
Well, I've been doing some research on him. I know a great friend of the show and someone you actually appeared on her podcast before, Marie Shadows.
Hmm.
She's very familiar because she covers New Japan. She knows all that stuff out there. So she's always been singing the praises of Hikuleo, the man now known as Talatonga, and saying how if he just got a shot at the big time, he would crush it. So, shout out to Marie. Looks like he's going to get his shot here because Talatonga definitely made an impression at Night of Champions. But again, man, congratulations to you. This is really cool. You and Bubba have trained so many people who have gone on to make a living for themselves. Many of them have been in the WWE, TNA, AEW, what have you here. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool to know that and to see the fruits of your labor continue to grow like that. But from your perspective, how do you feel about it?
I just, again, it's shocking in a sense to me too, because I never thought in a million years I'd have these many guys coming out of school and representing Team 3D and DDA. It's a great feeling. Listen, we got guys in AEW. We have guys in WWE now. Well, we've always had them in WWE. We have guys in NXT, men and women. And, we have guys in what TNA. I mean, they're all over. We're producing them. It's just a testament to what me and Bubba have done all these years. We Bubba in himself. he strives on no mistakes. And I know people say, well, you can't do that because, no mistakes is like, everybody makes mistakes. You have to be able to, make mistakes and bounce back from it. And this and that, oh no, that's not fair. You can't teach that. Bullshit, you can't. Look at what we've taught. Look at what we taught. You know, if you can mess up, keep doing it over and over and over again
I love it.
until you get it right.
I love it. That's the way. That's the only way. Repetition. That's the only way there. And I got to call this out. Uh, one of your top students of all time, Ref Jess. She's been, I don't know what's going on. She's been doing her push ups. She's been doing her pull ups. She got some muscles on muscles, man. Is she gearing up to kick your ass or something? What's going on with her, man?
No, not me. No, Jess has always wanted to wrestle. Um, she never really wanted to ref, but she saw the opportunity to get into the company and said, okay, that's what's going to happen. And that's what I'm going to accept. And she's killing it. But Jess has always been trained like that. If you see before and after pictures of Jess, you would be like, wow, it was amazing how she transformed her body while she was at our school and everything. And then she continues to do it. She takes the knowledge of what she learned from us and Apache Dan Carr, the creator of the American Gladiators, who is our strength and conditioning coach, has been with us since 2007. Um, she basically, takes that on the road with her. So she has always been someone that has still trained as if she's wrestling WrestleMania because that's her ultimate dream. Yes, she's in there, she's doing what she's doing, but she's always wanted to wrestle. And, there are times where she's asked Hunter, do you think there will ever be a time where I can go in the ring and do something? And Hunter said, you never know. Let's just see how things turn out. But she's gonna, do the referee's role for now until if that opportunity ever does come up. So, my hat goes off to her. She's still doing what she's doing.
I love it. I love it. And I have seen the before pictures, and we see her now. It's a totally different person.
hmm I was in Baltimore at an indie show. I was currently with TNA at the time. I walked in there and I met her. She was valeting. And I basically, she introduced herself to me, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right. And I remember her telling me she wanted to really take her career to the next level. And she was asking about our school. So I said, okay. I said, well, listen, let's talk after the show and we can most likely maybe, do you live out here? And she goes, yes. I said, well, you have to move to Florida. And she was willing to do that. She says, I don't care. She's like, I just want to take my ability to the next level. I said, okay. We talked, we went and had after the show, we went and had dinner at, not that it matters, but it's gonna kill me if I don't remember. Um
What,
Not
Jimmy's?
Applebee's. No, no, not that. It was a not a mom and pop's Chili's. I'm sorry, Chili's.
Chili's.
Yeah, it was Chili's restaurant. We went and ate in Chili's and she was telling me, what she was going through, where she was training at the time. I said, well, come on down to me. And she came down and I think she was with me for like 5, 6 years. And next thing you know, she got the phone call and the rest is history.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Shout out to Ref Jess. I know we've shown her some love before, but I'm going to keep doing it, man, because she's dedicated to the craft. She continues to. First of all, she's going to be in the Hall of Fame as a referee. There's no question about that. So let's call that out. But it's clear to me that she's getting herself in extra shape to at least wrestle a match. And damn, you know what I mean? She looks great, man. She looks great. So I hope it happens. I think it would be, especially if it's on a big show, that would be amazing. You
hmm
know, that would be amazing. It's a reminder to everybody out there. When I look at people like Jess and Daphne, uh, who she went by Ref Aja at first, She wrestled as Aja Pereira on the independent scene, so she's the first black female ref in WWE history. When I look at those ladies, and like you said, they didn't necessarily want to be referees; they're wrestlers, but the opportunity was presented and they jumped on it. And they've been in some monumental moments in wrestling history as referees. So they still got to the big show, just in a different way. You know what I mean? And they're probably both going to be in the Hall of Fame as a result of that. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Hmm.
When the door is closed, come in through the window, go through the back door, whatever you got to do. If you really want it, you will not be denied if you're willing to sacrifice and as Ric Flair would say, pay the price of a wrestling lifetime. And certainly those two ladies are a prime example. They've done that. They literally had to hang up their boots and put on the referee gear, but damn it, they're in the big show. You know, can't beat that. Can't beat that with a stick. Anyways, Night of Champions out there in Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, always beautiful. The crowd was on fire. They never stopped and what have you, which was so awesome to see. You had Cody Rhodes. He is the king of the ring. He defeated Randy Orton. And then you had Jade Cargill surprising me by defeating Asuka. And, you know, classy move by Jade in the end. She tweeted out thanking Asuka, said it was a dream match for her and that she could not have had a match like that with anyone but Asuka, which I'm going to tell you right now, I second that. Asuka's a Hall of Famer in her own right. And she made Jade look like $1,000,000 in that ring, which was really cool. Good piece of business there. What are your
That's what it's
thoughts?
all about.
That's what it's all about. But what are
That's
your
what it's all
thoughts
about.
on the king and the queen of the ring, though?
Well, going back to Jade, Jade got a lot of slack because people saying she can't wrestle, she's horrible, she needs to go back to the school and this and that. Well, she proved herself at King of the Ring. Not only that, but hanging on with Oscar. And that's huge. Oscar can only do so much in terms of if a person really doesn't know how to do it or can really, hold their own. And she held her own, and it was enough that Oscar guided her and helped her through everything. So my hat goes off to Jade. I'm really happy about that. Um, I'd love to see people who prove other people wrong, and she's doing that. So my hat goes off to you, Jade. You ever hear this? My hat goes off to you because again, you're proving those doubters that they don't their opinion doesn't exist and it doesn't matter, and you go ahead and do your thing and keep doing it. Keep your head up. That's the most important thing. Don't let this negativity get you. And I know it's not, because if it was, we would be seeing a different Jade. We'd be seeing a different person in that ring. You could tell that she's not listening to these haters, and she's going out there and doing what she's got to do. You have to. Everybody's got an opinion, but again, how you give your opinion is one way, but when you want to be rude about it, then F you, man.
And
As
then
far as Cody and Randy,
yeah,
you know, yeah, I like the idea. We might see a Cena and Cody, too, which is good, and Randy doing the honors. Randy doesn't have to win anything anymore. Randy has done it all. He's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. He's definitely going to go down as one of the greatest of all time in WWE. It's amazing the things that Randy has accomplished and still accomplishing, even if it means helping a guy like Cody Rhodes, who is over, by the way, in his own right, but getting them even to that next level even more, helping Cody to get to where he needs to be. So my hat goes off
that's
to
right.
Randy. Excellent, excellent deal with the WWE and their piece of business.
Yeah, I mean they're on fire. There's no question about it. They're on fire, and I know some folks out there they took issue with WWE going over to Saudi Arabia, especially with the conflict with Iran and Israel and the United States being in the middle of all that and what have you. Let me tell you something. $50 million. That's how much they profit off of that one event. $50 million. That's what gets to the put in the bank account. And I'm not saying that you got to put, profit over lives or what have you, but Donald Trump is in the Hall of Fame. Donald Trump is one of the main reasons why the WWE still exists today, and he's the president of the United States. And regardless of your politics, I can't imagine that the WWE didn't coordinate with the president and obviously with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to make sure that that situation was as safe as humanly possible in terms of getting all the folks over and getting them out safely, which is exactly what happened. So, $50 million is a lot of money, and that pays. First of all, you can cover Raw for the whole year with $50 million in terms of
Huh.
putting on Raw for the whole year. That's about how much it costs, about $1 million per episode. So one show can pay for Raw. It would take an act of God for you not to deliver on doing that show. So kudos to WWE, kudos to everyone involved, keeping them safe. It was a great event. I'm happy for the fans over there at the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They were on fire. So, why don't they deserve a big show and a high quality show, especially when that kind of money is being paid for it? The Royal Rumble next year is going to be in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if you knew that, Devo.
I'm sorry. Say that part again, please.
The Royal Rumble. So not the greatest Royal Rumble or any kind of fancy name. No, the Royal Rumble, one of the big four pay-per-views of the year. A lot of people will say, other than WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble is, the number 2 pay-per-view or PLE of the year. It's going to be in Saudi Arabia in 2026.
Well, I will not be there unless WWE asks me to go. So, yeah, that will not happen for me.
Listen, you
Because
sure?
usually usually you do fan fest and all of that. I don't see how anybody can go over there and put on a Comic Con or anything like that. I don't see it happening.
Hey, stranger things have happened in life, man. You never know. You never know. You know? But that should be exciting. That should be exciting. And we know that from a visual standpoint, it's probably going to be the most visually appealing Royal Rumble ever because they spare no expense with these Saudi Arabia shows, man. They look fantastic. Anyway, 4th of July, it's the holidays. Folks get together, they have their barbecue, see people you haven't seen in a while. Maybe you'll watch some sports, whatever. But it's a time for people to get together and celebrate their independence of the nation, independence as free people in this nation.
Right.
You being a pro wrestler, someone who has been all over the world and has been on the road and performed basically every holiday, right? Every holiday, at least one time in your career, you've had to wrestle, right?
Yes, absolutely. 4th of July, I've done that. Haven't done it in a while, but yes, I had to do that.
So let me ask you
Even
this. What's that?
even when I didn't wrestle and I was just a producer.
That's right. You were still there. You still had to be there and you're still working.
Hmm.
So here's an interesting one for you. When it comes to 4th of July in particular, because it's a big barbecue holiday, right? Outdoors, fire up the grill, yada, yada, yada. What is it like for a WWE superstar on the 4th of July, especially if you have to perform that day? So how do you get your fix? How do you get your gathering? How do you get your barbecue and all that good stuff? Is it anything like what it is at home? Walk me through that, bro.
Well, to me, I mean, it's another holiday just to eat. That's all the 4th of July is. Macaroni and not macaroni and cheese, potato salad. Macaroni salad, hot dogs, hamburgers. I mean, that's just the way it is. I don't look at the 4th of July as being a major holiday, other than celebrating the birth of the United States. But when you think about it and really understand what I'm trying to say, people only look at the 4th of July as a day of having off and a day of drinking and eating. So for me to go to work on those days, I'm okay with that because it allows me to try to still keep my diet. So, I basically don't mind not being home on the 4th of July if I have to work. I just go out there and I just work. I just do it. But I've always been like that.
So in terms of after the match or what have you, do you guys as wrestlers, do you get together and do a barbecue? Is the company cater barbecue, or you just hit the road, get to the next town, and you go sit down somewhere?
Well, if you're at a live event, then if if I if there's a live event, no, there's no catering, there's no nothing like that. You find a restaurant, you go and eat. That's really it.
Oh, wow, wow.
Yeah, that's
I,
really it.
I figured that you would have some big barbecue story, something like that. So you guys never really did that.
No, we really didn't. No, I mean catering, if it falls on a Monday or whenever SmackDown is on a Tuesday, back in the day with me it was a Friday because it was live. Um, Basically they would make it at catering. Other than that, it was nothing really special, special. They try to make it seem, but you're working. At that point for WWE, you're just working. It really doesn't matter.
That's deep. So then let me
Hmm.
pose it a different way for you. Throughout the history of your career, what was the most holiday gathering that you experienced with wrestlers? So meaning
Exactly.
you you got together in fellowship. Obviously, you eat, you drink, you laugh, and all that stuff. But in terms of a gathering where you're all together hanging out, no different than you would do with your own family and what have you. Can you think of a time where it kind of felt like that? Tell me about that time.
When it felt like what?
It felt like you were at a holiday event with your family.
Well, again, sometimes WWE would make it interesting, um, 4th of July. But I think leading up to things, I think holidays like Thanksgiving is where I felt it because they would go all out on Thanksgiving catering. On the last day before we have the vacation, um, for for Thanksgiving or even Christmas. Christmas was special too. So they really made you feel like you were celebrating the holidays before the holidays came a couple of days prior to the November Thanksgiving or December Christmas.
Wow. So really, it's later in the years when you get that family feel. So Fourth of July is just another
Mm.
day, basically.
I would say it is, and I don't think anybody would disagree with me that has been in the WWE and has experienced it.
Got it. Got it. Was there any holiday in particular that you actually look forward to performing? Was there one where the crowd was a certain way, or because of where you were, or what have you? It's like, yeah, yeah, I want to be out in the ring in this day.
I'm probably going to say, you said being in the ring on that day. So I would say, hmm, huh, maybe the first,
Okay, New Year's. All
maybe
right.
January 1st, New Year's. Yeah. Because there were
Huh.
times we were in the ring in New Year's and, you know, um, it's the new day, new year and all of that. I think it only happened once or twice. I think that happened. That didn't happen too many times.
So New Year's is the day that out of all the different holidays or special days of the year, that was a good time to perform. That's wild.
I mean, and I look at it, and hey, some people may not agree with me on that, but I look at it, it's a new beginning, new storylines, new everything. So you're getting yourself together. Not to mention, you're also getting ready for WrestleMania.
Good
You know,
point. You're on the road. Yep.
hoping to make that card, hoping to be on the Royal Rumble to get you on there, and then of course the pay-per-views leading up to WrestleMania.
Good
That's what
point.
I always felt.
The road to WrestleMania definitely starts right at the beginning of the year.
Hmm.
Good call. Good call. You just made me think of something too. Being the son of bishops, you're a preacher's kid, heavily in the church and all that stuff. Still to this day,
Hmm.
yeah, you just did a talk at a church recently, right?
Yes, I just did a talking at a church, and it was great to some kids. And my second year doing it, I used to do it a lot with WWE. It was called the Get Real program, and we went to inner city schools and talked to kids and keeping them to stay off of drugs and stay out of trouble, go to school, get your education, things like that. And I always wanted to continue to do that a long time. I remember coming back to WWE. I had asked them to restart the program, let me head it. And I always got the yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we're thinking about that. And I never got the phone call. So, you know,
That's crazy because you're
I
perfect
never
for
got the
that.
phone call. Yeah, and I love doing it. I love doing it. And they never wanted to relaunch it. And it wasn't going to take that. It wasn't going to be that hard to relaunch it, but I guess in their eyes, they thought it of being too much.
Did you ever run into situations where people who did not understand pro wrestling, let's say, or maybe they're just not fans? Did you ever run into situations where church folks would look down on you or give you a hard time for being a wrestler?
Oh yeah, you run into that. I didn't run into it as often, but you did run into it. Absolutely, you did. And it was, and these are the people that act like they don't care about what we do. They don't care, but still, you don't have to be rude about it. And there are people that were, well, I said this to them. I ain't scared of them. And that was a lot of times that would happen. I'd be like, okay, you're an idiot. I just walk away from them.
So when all that stuff was going on with the parents television council and all that, which I identify themselves as a quote unquote Christian organization and all that, did you get any flack from them during the Attitude Era?
No, I didn't. Surprisingly, I didn't. And I don't think a lot of us did. I think more Vince and The Office got it more than us because I think a lot of people knew that we would just, work, doing our job, being told what to do. But still, you know, some people did think that we should have, stepped up and said no to certain things. But it was kind of like, okay, we're getting paid the money we're getting paid. So no, I'm not going to say no. And I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. We're not hurting anybody. You listen, you be a role model to your children. Watch and monitor what they watch. And if you don't, that's your fault. If you don't watch them, if you don't want them watching WWE Attitude Era, then make sure you're there to stop it from happening. No, you can't police your children 24/7, but guess what? You can be a part of their life in some way, shape, or form. And it's not my fault if your child goes to school and says, suck it, the garage. You should have been watching what they were watching instead of being in the room on the phone with, your cousin or your best friend talking about, what Jennifer or whatever idiot that lives near you is doing, or what, or want to talk crap about this one that one. You should have been paying attention to your kids. It's not my fault. It's not my fault if your kid watched me jump off the top rope and for me to do the what's up into some girl's crotch and I stayed there. That's not my fault. We warn you before you watch the show. Parental guidance is suggested. Hey, if you don't heed that warning, that's your fault.
Man, do you remember when they used to have the little device that you could connect to your television in order to block certain channels?
Yes.
It was a child lock. Now, later on, TVs were equipped with a child lock feature where you could just press it into control and you could do that. But I'm pretty sure that WWE had a lot to do with why those things existed.
Well, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure, and it's sad because we weren't the only ones out there doing stuff.
No, come on, man. Jerry Springer and all kind of stuff was going on. Geraldo before that. There was all kind of married with children. Listen, I remember when the Simpsons, that animated cartoon that everyone loves now, classic cartoon, everyone knows the Simpsons. I remember when the Simpsons first debuted on Fox, and Fox 25 or Fox was still a brand new station for the most part. Um, but Bart Simpson said, "Eat my shorts," and my mother heard that, and she damn near snatched me up. She, "What are you watching? What did he just say? What? Eat my shorts?" And that's it. She's a police officer, right? She wanted to tear me up for even having the audacity to watch something like that, right? So, and then mind you, after that, all the T-shirts were coming out, and that was the hip thing. Everybody was wearing the Bart Simpson T-shirts where he's saying "Eat my shorts" and dressing up like he's some kind of gangster or whatever. But she wanted to tear me up because this cartoon was talking like that, and it just makes me shake my head. I just talked to my mom about that recently. She was laughing. She was like, "Lord, if I would have known where TV was going to go from there." Eat my shorts don't sound so bad anymore.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, but can you imagine? Eat my shorts was a big deal, bro. That was a big deal back then. You know,
Well, you also got to remember too, the 40s and the 50s and the 60s values were still going on.
sure,
Remember, once on TV, Lucy of All, um, her show, um, I believe the Brady Bunch, they all slept in separate beds,
separate
even as
beds.
married couples.
Yep,
You could
yep,
not you could not portray that on TV as them sleeping in the same beds.
yep,
And I
yep.
didn't realize that until somebody pointed that out to me years ago. And I was like, oh man, that's right. You didn't see an episode back then where even though they were married, they stayed in the same bed.
So crazy, man. It's so crazy how different. Because I mean, that was made up. That wasn't real life, man. Who the hell buying two beds? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's silly. But that's what they wanted to project on television. So again, when we get into the Attitude Era, 10 years later, 15 years later, and you suck it and all this stuff, and even the stuff with the Dudley Boy, you guys are giving people the middle finger and carrying on and cutting those crazy promos. Lord, we went to a
Hold
whole
on,
new
just for
level.
the record.
Uh oh,
Just for the record, in case anybody wants to sue me, it was all Bubba.
that's
It
it.
wasn't me.
That's it. You were the one. You were the one next to him saying, "Yeah."
Yeah, I was like, testify. There you go. Tell him, brother.
Tell him, bro. Yeah, yeah.
It's not a crime for me to agree with somebody.
Well, you were just encouraging your brother. That's all. You were,
That was it.
that's it. Just encouraging your brother. You know. All right. Before we wrap up, man, let's do something even more fun here. Um, when it comes to holidays, especially cookouts, black folk, we like to cut up, and music is always a integral part of that. So let's make our own playlist, Devon. Let's do a couple of songs here. When it comes to the Devon and the Duke barbecue, I'll start off. I'll give you one to start off that has to be on the playlist. "Before I Let Go" by Frankie, Beverly, and Maze. That's got to be on the playlist. That's got to be playing, especially right when the food is about ready to be served. I got to have that blaring out of the speakers, brother.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely one. Absolutely. If any black party or gathering or get together, that song is always coming on, and everybody knows the lyrics to it,
Everybody knows the lyrics. That's right. That's right.
young or old.
That's a staple.
Another one, exactly. Another one is
Oh yeah, ain't no
ain't no
stopping us
stopping us
now.
now.
Yeah, yeah, we on the
Yeah.
move. Yes,
That's always a one that blares into my family's radio.
I love it.
Uh, and of course, you got to have some. Teddy Pendergrass.
Uh-oh.
When everybody starts, sitting down and eating and or just relaxing, and TKO,
Yes. Love
just
TKO.
like another
Yes.
love TKO.
Yes. Yes. Come on. Well, if you're going there, then
That's-
you gotta go with
hold on.
uh
You got to go Marvin Gaye. What's going on?
what's going on. Gotta do what's going on.
What's going on was a
Yep.
huge message back in the 70s, especially with the Vietnam War
Ooh. Yeah.
going on. And, even though it was very political, what's going on, still, it was a song that was played all the time. That whole album was politically motivated by the Vietnam War and what was going on during that time. Some people being drafted, but yet it was very, very instrumental in Black culture.
Yep. Well said. Well said. Of course, I'm going to hit you with one that you're probably going to say you should have said this one. Obviously, the electric slide.
Man, listen, when Rikishi started dancing in the ring, I said, man, that's an electric slide.
What do you say to that? What do you say to that?
he goes, he said, look, man, he was like, the white people don't know this. They just think it's a dance I created.
It's true. Now that I think about it, that's all he's doing. That's all he's doing.
That's all it was an electric slide.
How about one more? Give us one more, man.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go a little earlier than the songs I was saying. I'm gonna have to go one from Luther Vandross.
Okay.
Um, never, never too much, never too
Yeah, that's
much.
it. Never too much. That's
Yeah,
it.
never
Yeah,
too much.
I love it. Did you watch that documentary, that Never Too Much documentary?
No, I didn't. I didn't even know it was out.
Oh man, yeah. Let me find the channel that it's on now, so you can watch it. It is incredible. They talk about Luther's whole career, and they talk to his real friends, the people who were really there, bro. It is incredible to hear them talk about Luther. Incredible, you know.
I love Luther. I didn't appreciate Luther until as he got older and he stopped really performing because I really wasn't an R&B guy. But I didn't really appreciate his music until his later years. And then, of course, when he passed away, excuse me, I really did appreciate his music because he was gone. It was that old theory: you don't realize what you got until it's gone. But
Sure.
once Luther left, it seemed to me like a lot of R&B singers just drifted off.
Yep. Yep. It's true. It's true. It's never been
You
the
know,
same. It's never been the same.
listen, Luther, Freddie Jackson, Anita Baker. I mean, the list goes on with the '80s and '90s R&B singers. Listen, today's R&B singers, and I hope people don't get offended, but it's you're not telling me a story really. It's all about breaking broken hearts and what this one did to you and what that and how you gonna bounce back and so forth and so on. I'm like, dude, I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to be depressed when I'm listening to R&B. I want to be happy. I want to be able to take my girl or my significant other, go in the bedroom and say, let's make love. Like
Damn
Eddie
right.
Murphy. You want somebody to grab your back and then go, fuck you, get on me. Or you want somebody to go, baby, just make love to me. Either one. I want that. I don't want to be talking about, I don't want to be all depressed when I'm listening to music. And that's what it seems to me the state of music is in right now, especially R&B. It's like you're all depressed because, somebody broke your heart or you broke up in a relationship and you're gonna teach them and show them that they're gonna regret you. Come on, man. Whatever happened to real R&B?
Well, even when we talk about the '90s, we had a time period where, like you said, you still had Freddie Jackson, Luther Vandross, Anita Baker. They were still making hits, doing their thing, what have you. But you had that new school that came in too, right? So you had H Town knocking the boots. Please, you had a guy. That song, Let's Chill. I still listen to that song all the damn time. You know that song, Let's
Mhm.
Chill. Oh my God, that
Or
song.
Aaron Hall, I Miss You.
I Miss You. Yeah, later on. Which, if
That
I'm not
was that
mistaken, that was
got me.
about his wife who passed away, right?
That bothered me. Every time I heard that song, I got 7 kids, and every time, I would have a kid, right after that song came out. I mean, of course, the twins and my other son Matthew, and it wasn't. They were born already, but when that song was made, where if you watch the video, it was like every time I saw the video, I teared up
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they showed you how they were planning the baby, planning the room, and everything, and all of a sudden something happened. They rushed her to the hospital, and she died on the table giving birth. And of course, the baby survived, but the wife didn't, and that always scared me, man. That really
jeez.
did. Every time my last four kids, it just scared me when it was time to give birth because I didn't want to lose anybody in the process of it. And every time it was like, I don't know what it was. It had to be something where every time I would, the baby was about to be born, I would see that video. It would like
Wow,
pop up on TV. I was like, wow, is that a sign? Is that something for me to be, get ready to get used to? So it would scare me.
wow. Well, thank God it didn't happen. Jeez,
Yeah,
you
thank
know
God.
that's deep. That's deep.
Hmm.
It's funny because when we think about that period of music and that style of music, obviously Teddy Riley being the super producer and writer that he is, um, he follows up with Blackstreet, right? And you think of some of the songs that they did, No Diggity and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Oh man, I mean, just still, we're still getting quality R&B at that period.
Hmm.
I don't know what year it happened, but it's almost like somebody flipped a switch and then suddenly it was all crap. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I don't get it. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't want to say I don't like it. I'm not a big fan. Listen, you people, you guys go out there and make your money and do what you do best. But I don't have to like it.
Yeah, yeah. Maxwell, D'Angelo, remember that time period where those guys were on
Hmm.
top doing their thing, and this still
Yep.
that was cool. That was cool music, neo soul. So you had Jill Scott and Erica Badu doing their thing and all of that. It was still cool. That's like early 2000s, and then by the time I'd say before we hit 2010, something happened, and we have never turned a corner since. You know,
Yeah.
so that's tough. Which
It's
which the
it's
funny part, the old stuff still is relevant as a result because
oh,
you can't find nothing
absolutely.
new. You know,
Absolutely.
that's what it
Gotta
is,
love
man.
it.
Yeah, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Anyway, Devon, what's the best way that everyone can keep up with you, especially the YouTube and all that good stuff there, man? Plug away.
Absolutely. Well, my YouTube channel, which is doing extremely well, I would tell you what numbers I'm at, but I can't because my daughter loves to play with my phone and then locks me out of everything. So I'm waiting for my producers and stuff to get me logged back in. Um, but yeah, check out my no, not now. I'm not saying that the YouTube is locked off of the fan, but just me seeing all the numbers. It's called YouTube Studio. So all of that is locked down until I get back in. But we're still making videos. Still got one that just came out. I was rating the greatest finishes and the, the finishes and the submissions, things like that. Check it out on Devon Dudley YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like with the comments, and please be respectful. If you don't like something or whatever, just be respectful. That's all I ask. You can also catch me on Instagram at Testify Devon. Um, I look at that as well, the DMs, all of that. I enjoy putting content up. I enjoy putting a lot of stuff up on Michael Jordan. When it comes to the controversy of who's the greatest, everybody should know if they know me, it's MJ. And I hated MJ growing up because he would always beat the Knicks. He was preventing the Knicks from making it to the championship. So I wasn't always a Michael Jordan fan, just for that simple fact. But when you start debating on who's the greatest and who's the best when it comes to Michael Jordan or LeBron James, not denouncing at all that LeBron James is not a great basketball player. He is, but he's also not the greatest. He's not the GOAT. My Mount Rushmore would have to be Michael Jordan, number one, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Deep, deep, deep. I'm a little
So
I'm a little
you know,
offended you didn't put Bill Russell on there. I'm a little offended by that. 11 championships. You got no love for 11 championships, Devon.
again, this is something to where you have to. I mean, Magic being, I know why you're talking now. It just hit me while you talking about Bill Russell. It would take somebody from Boston to say that. But Magic Johnson being that, what was he, number 2 point? One of the greatest ever to play the sport of basketball. And of course, Michael Jordan being the GOAT, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar being the greatest, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, greatest center and sports leader, I mean, not sports, NBA shooter of all time. I mean, it's Kareem. So you got to put them all together. And Kobe, my God, the Black Mamba. I mean, you know, anybody that is a splitting image of Jordan has to be number 2 in my book. God rest your soul, Kobe. I was glad to be able to see you live at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. I saw you live here in Orlando, Florida, against the Orlando Heat, and the Orlando Magic. I was able to see him, and he was truly a special talent.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still a little upset about this omission of Bill Russell and omission of Larry Bird. Magic couldn't be Magic without Bird. All right, every
Oh,
yin needs a
absolutely.
yang. All right, I'm just going to say
See,
that now.
yeah, listen, man, listen, you just upset, you know. I mean, come on. Mm.
You didn't even put a nick on your team. How dare you? And you call yourself a New Yorker. You didn't even put a nick on your Mount Rushmore.
No, I mean, mine would have been Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, of course, of course.
I mean, I love Patrick. I got upset with the Knicks when they traded Patrick Ewing to the Supersonics in 2001.
Yep,
And I refused to watch basketball. I refused to cheer for the Knicks. I had been in limbo up until this past year.
that was a hell
I
of a
left
run
the
they had
Knicks.
this year. That
It
was a hell of a
was.
run.
I
Oh,
I left the Knicks. I went to the Lakers when Kobe was there. When Kobe retired, I really felt lost. I didn't know who to go for then. And then when this run started with the Knicks this past basketball season, I was back to being a Knicks fan.
hell of a run. That
Yes, it was.
Carl Anthony Towns. He's a big dude. He runs very awkward. His shot is awkward, but damn it, he gets the job done, huh?
Yes, he does. I mean, a hell of a talent and somebody that you definitely got to look for in the years to come. And, let's just see what happens with the Knicks this year. I hope I see a championship before I die. Guys,
Well,
I'll be 53 this year, so please give me something.
well, just so you know, the East is wide open because the Celtics are restructuring. They just got rid of Drew Holiday. They got rid of Porzingis.
Okay, but
Both of the. Uh-oh.
remember, they can restructure all they want, but once they leave the East and go to the West to fight in the finals, that's where you got to win it to hit the championship. So they can make it to the finals. They got to go through the East, but winning it, that's the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I
You
don't
gotta
know.
win.
I don't know how much. I don't know how much wind was taken out of the Knicks after that. I mean, because it was a great run.
And I think America was really cheering. Listen, the Pacers, they earned it. All right, they fought hard. They earned it. I'm not taking anything away from them. They were a great team. I was disappointed that they lost in the finals. Halliburton going down really messed everything up, so to speak. That kid is far more valuable than I think people realized. But I can't say that people were rooting for the Pacers over the Knicks. They wanted the Knicks to go to the finals, man.
Absolutely.
You know, they wanted New York to finally get it. So that's interesting. That's it. Listen. Now, enough of the controversy, okay? Because now you done got me all stirred up. Anyway, let's plug the school because we were talking about all your great students and the great job they're doing. How can folks get in contact to join the school?
Absolutely. So what you would want to do is it's called DDA, Devon Dudley Academy. You can go on the website and look for the information as well. We're at 2720 Forsyth Road, Building C, Unit 318, Winter Park, Florida, 32792. You can also call us at area code 407-790-7800. Again, 407-790-7800. You want to take your professional wrestling career to the next level, or you just want to start your career, then give us a call. We're going to try to make that happen for you and make sure you can be able to testify. And also, we might have to teach you how to get the tables.
Listen, your son's trying to steal that, man. You got to trademark that. Make sure they don't steal that from you, know.
As long as I get the residual from it. Let me tell you something. I told the twins I got a 2-page letter that starts from the top of the house where I live to the bottom of the floor, rolled out into the driveway of all the money you guys owe me from all the broken toys and all the stuff I had to buy double for. And now that you guys are doing well in the business, within the business and everything, it's time to pay up.
Pay up. Pay up. Come on now. Pay up. I love it. I love it. Folks, as always, Duke Loves Rasslin on Facebook, on Twitter, DukeLovesWrestling@gmail.com. Let me know what you think of the show. Any questions for the big man, what have you. You see how we're going down memory lane, talking about music, food, holidays, the whole 9 yards there. It's a great time. So, speaking of a great time, it is that time of the week. Big man, take us out with the word of the week.
And some people will only love you as much as they can use you. Their loyalty ends when the benefits stops. Oh, my brother, testify.
Strictly for the culture every day. Step in style in your unique way. Patterns and colors so defined. All about the perfect line. Be yourself, let your spirit fly. In this fashion, you'll touch the sky. Strictly for the culture, brand so fine. Dress to impress and show your shine. Strictly for the culture, every day. Step in style in your unique way.
Visit www.strictlyfortheculture.ca.
Backstage whispers and the crowds roar. From matching giants to legends of yore. Devon's wisdom and Duke's keen view. Every episode feels like it's brand new. Devon and the Duke bring the heat. Wrestling tales knock you off your seat. Tune in now, don't you be late. Wrestling podcast never